My name is Olivia. I am 29 years old, and 7 years ago, my sister stole my life. Today, I've come back to take hers. It's a simple equation, a matter of balance. A soul for a soul. A future for a future. The girl she destroyed on that rainy November morning, the one who stood shivering in a uselessly beautiful ivory dress while the wedding guests whispered her humiliation into the damp air, is dead. I am what grew from her ashes, harder, colder, and patient as a predator. For 7 years, I've watched from a distance. I've traced the infuriatingly perfect lines of Emily's life through the curated portals of social media and the clipped, careful updates from our mother. I saw the Tuscan wedding to Marcus Thorne, a man with a jawline as sharp as his portfolio. I saw the birth of their son, Leo, and 2 years later, their daughter, Clara. I saw the sprawling suburban mansion, the charity galas, the Christmas cards where they posed in matching cashmere, a portrait of suffocating bliss. A portrait that should have been mine. Emily didn't just take my fiancé, Daniel. She disemboweled my world. She stood beside me during fittings, her eyes shining with what I mistook for sisterly devotion, all while she was sleeping with a man I was about to marry. The discovery wasn't dramatic. It was sordid and small. An accidentally discovered hotel receipt, a string of saved messages that spoke of a passion I had never known from him. The worst part wasn't the betrayal itself, but Emily's justification, delivered with a placid shrug. He came on to me, Liv. What was I supposed to do? We just connected. Connected. As if she'd merely found a new confidant, not driven a stake through the heart of my entire existence. Daniel, pathetic and weak, vanished. I, the jilted bride, became a ghost. I left town that same night with nothing but a suitcase and a core of glacial rage. I worked dead-end jobs, saved every penny, and remade myself. I shed the soft, trusting girl I was and forged a new identity in the crucible of my hatred. I learned about money, about power, about the subtle ways one can dismantle a person without ever laying a hand on them. Now I am back. And the occasion is, with delicious irony, our parents' 40th wedding anniversary. The prodigal daughter returns. I park my car, a sleek black coupe that costs more than my father's annual salary, at the end of the long gravel driveway leading to the family home. The house looks the same, a place frozen in the amber of my childhood memories. But I am not the same. I step out, my heels crunching on the gravel. I'm wearing a dress the color of dried blood, tailored to perfection. My hair, once a soft brown, is now a severe, glossy black. The front door opens before I reach it. My mother stands there, her face a canvas of shock and hesitant joy. Olivia. Oh, my God, Olivia. I offer her a cool, measured smile. Hello, Mother. Her hug is frail, smelling of lavender and regret. Over her shoulder, I see my father, his expression guarded. But it's the figure behind them that makes the ice in my veins sing. Emily. She looks soft. Her blonde hair is artfully tousled, her face flushed with the kind of contentment that comes from a life without struggle. She's holding a little girl's hand. Clara. My niece. Her smile falters when she sees me. The color drains from her face. Good. The game begins. Liv, she breathes, her voice a ghost of the one that haunts my nightmares. You're here. Of course, I say, my voice smooth as silk. I wouldn't miss it for the world. My eyes slide past her to the man standing in the doorway, his hand resting on her shoulder. Marcus Thorne. He's handsome, just as he is in the photos, with kind eyes and an easy smile. He is the king of her perfect kingdom, and every kingdom has its weaknesses. I extend a hand to him, my gaze direct and unwavering. You must be Marcus. I'm Olivia. It's a pleasure to finally meet you. His handshake is firm. His eyes, I notice, hold a flicker of curiosity. He's heard the stories, of course. He knows I am the family tragedy, the cautionary tale. He has no idea I am actually the reckoning. The party is a minefield of strained pleasantries. Aunts and uncles eye me with a mixture of pity and suspicion. I navigate it with effortless grace, a phantom at the feast. I am a different person, and it unsettles them. The broken girl they remember wouldn't be able to hold a room's attention with a single, quiet story about her work in international finance. The broken girl wouldn't look so complete. My primary target is Marcus. Emily, I know, is watching my every move, her anxiety a palpable hum in the air. This makes it easier. I don't approach him directly. Instead, I engage my father in a loud, laughing conversation about the stock market. I use terms and projections that are just beyond his understanding but are pure catnip for a man like Marcus. I feel his attention shift. Soon, he drifts over, a scotch in hand. "Didn't realize you were in finance, Olivia," he says, his voice a low baritone. "Emily told me you were in art curation?" I give him a wry smile. I've worn a few hats. Curation was a past life. I found I prefer building empires to cataloging them. The bait is taken. We talk for nearly an hour. I let him lead, making him feel brilliant. I listen, truly listen, in a way I suspect Emily, consumed by her children and social obligations, has not done in years. I learn that his real passion isn't wealth management but restoring vintage cars, a hobby Emily finds tedious. I learn that he's frustrated with a local zoning board over an expansion to his firm. I file these details away like precious jewels. When Emily finally comes to reclaim him, her smile is a tight, desperate slash across her face. "Darling, your son wants to show you the fort he built." Marcus looks at me, a strange, almost apologetic expression in his eyes. "It was great talking to you, Olivia." "And you, Marcus," I say, my voice warm. "Really?" Phase 1 is complete. I have established myself not as the fragile sister-in-law, but as a peer, an equal. An intriguing one. The children are next. Leo is 7, a boisterous boy with his father's eyes. Clara is 5, shy and watchful. Emily mothers them with a kind of frantic perfectionism, correcting their grammar, wiping their faces before they are dirty, orchestrating their joy. I approach them differently. I find Leo in the backyard, sulking because his fort has collapsed. "Tough break, Commander," I say, crouching beside him. He glares at me. "Mom says I used the wrong blankets." "Well, your mom's not a structural engineer, is she?" I whisper conspiratorially. "The problem isn't the blankets. It's your load-bearing walls. Here, let me show you." For the next half hour, we rebuild the fort. I don't talk down to him. I teach him about tension and support, using branches and the garden chairs. When we're done, the fort is magnificent. He looks at me with pure, unadulterated hero worship. Clara is a more delicate operation. I find her hiding under the grand piano, clutching a worn-out stuffed rabbit. "That's a very brave rabbit," I say softly, sitting on the floor a few feet away. "He's protecting you." She peeks at me. "His name is Barnaby." "Barnaby," I repeat gravely. "He looks like he's seen many adventures." Emily's voice cuts through the air. "Clara, don't hide under there, honey. You'll get your dress dusty." Clara flinches. I meet her gaze and give her a slow, secret wink. Later, when no one is looking, I slip her a small, beautifully carved wooden bird I brought from my travels. "For Barnaby," I whisper. "So he has a friend to talk to." Her small fingers close around it. A seed of trust is planted in soil her mother has, through sheer anxiety, made barren. The true weapon, however, is a family secret, and I know just where to find it. Late that night, after the guests have left and the house is quiet, I make my way to my father's study. I know he keeps everything. He is a historian of our family's small, quiet life. Behind a row of leather-bound encyclopedias is an old wooden box. Inside are letters, photos, and my mother's old diaries. I'm not looking for my own history. I'm looking for Emily's. My mother's handwriting is a neat, looping cursive. I scan the years before my engagement, looking for cracks in the façade of my perfect older sister. And then I find it. An entry dated a year before my own engagement to Daniel. Emily is inconsolable. The Montgomery boy has broken it off. She swears she is pregnant, but I think it's a desperate lie to keep him. She has a darkness in her, a terrifying need to win at any cost. I pray it doesn't consume her. The Montgomery boy. Michael Montgomery. His family had moved away suddenly. The story was that his father had a job transfer. But here, in my mother's elegant script, is a different story. A lie. A manipulation. A trial run for the masterpiece she would later perform on my life. I carefully photograph the page with my phone. The weapon is acquired. Now I just need to choose the battlefield. The next few months are a slow, methodical siege. I orchestrate accidental run-ins with Marcus at a coffee shop near his office. We talk about the zoning board. I use my financial contacts to get him a meeting with a key councilman. His gratitude is immense. Emily's suspicion grows into a low-grade panic. "It's funny how you're suddenly so interested in Marcus's work," she says to me over a tense family dinner. "Is it?" I reply, arching an eyebrow. "I find it fascinating. I didn't realize we weren't allowed to be friends. I become the cool aunt." I take Leo to a vintage car show, a place Marcus has always wanted to take him but Emily found too greasy. I teach Clara how to paint with watercolors, sitting with her for hours, patient and calm, a stark contrast to Emily's tightly scheduled world of ballet and Mandarin lessons. The children start asking for me. "Can Aunt Olivia come to my game? Can Aunt Olivia read my bedtime story?" Each request is a small, perfect twist of the knife in Emily's heart. The affair with Marcus begins, predictably, on a Tuesday. He calls me, his voice strained. The zoning deal has hit a snag. He's frustrated. Emily is hosting a book club and can't be bothered. "Meet me for a drink," I say, my voice a soothing balm. "You need to vent." He vents. I listen. I touch his hand, a fleeting gesture of sympathy. His eyes lock on mine. The air crackles. "You get it," he says, his voice thick with emotion. "You actually get it." "I've always been a good listener," I reply. He leans in and kisses me. It's not a kiss of passion, but of release, of gratitude. It is a pathetic, selfish kiss, and it is the key to the entire kingdom. I let him think he is the seducer, the one in control. Men like Marcus always need to believe that. We meet in secret, in boutique hotels where the anonymity is as luxurious as the thread count. The sex is a means to an end, a transaction. In the quiet moments after, I sow my seeds of poison. Emily is a wonderful mother, I'll say with a sigh. So dedicated. Of course, it must be hard for her to split her focus. Her children are her world. The unspoken words hang in the air. You are not her world. She's so protective of her image, I'll muse, tracing a line on his chest. It must be exhausting, keeping up that level of perfection all the time. The implication. Her love for you is just another performance. He absorbs it all, his own minor dissatisfactions now magnified into gaping marital wounds. He starts seeing Emily not as his wife, but as an obstacle. A beautiful, brittle warden. The moment to detonate the past arrives during a weekend at our parents' lake house. The whole family is there. The atmosphere is thick with unspoken tensions. Emily can barely look at me. Marcus follows me with his eyes. The children orbit me like a new sun. On Saturday evening, after a day of forced family fun, We're all sitting on the porch. My mother, trying to bridge the chasm between her daughters, brings out an old photo album. "Look how sweet you two were," she says, her voice wistful, pointing to a photo of Emily and me as children. Emily forces a smile. "We were always so close." "Yes, you were," I say, my voice dangerously soft. "You always looked out for me, just like you looked out for Michael Montgomery." The name drops into the conversation like a stone. My mother freezes. My father looks up from his newspaper, startled. Emily's face turns to stone. "I don't know what you're talking about," she says, her voice trembling slightly. "Don't you?" I press on, feigning confusion. "I was just thinking about him the other day. It was so sad how his family had to move away right after you two broke up. Especially with you being so unwell at the time." My mother shoots me a look of pure panic. "Olivia, that's enough." But I'm looking at Marcus. His brow is furrowed. He's a smart man. He can smell a secret. "What's this about?" he asks, looking at Emily. "It's nothing," Emily snaps. "A stupid high school drama." "Was it?" I say, turning the page of the album as if by accident, revealing a photo of a teenage Emily with a handsome, dark-haired boy. "Michael. I always thought it was strange. Mom was so worried. Writing in her diary about how you were telling everyone you were pregnant." "Olivia." My mother's voice is a shard of glass. Emily stands up, her chair scraping against the wooden deck. "She's lying. She's trying to cause trouble because she's always been jealous of me." The accusation hangs there. 7 years ago, it would have been true. But now, it sounds like the desperate defense of a guilty woman. Marcus is silent, his gaze fixed on his wife. He's not looking at her with anger, but with a chillingly calm reassessment. He's reevaluating every story she's ever told him, every perfect moment, and searching for the cracks. I have given him the one thing he needed, permission to doubt her. The final act is planned for Emily's 32nd birthday party, a lavish affair at their home. By now, her life is a crumbling ruin. Marcus is distant and cold, sleeping in the guest room. The children are openly defiant, constantly comparing her to their fun Aunt Olivia. She has lost the respect of our parents, who now see her not as the golden child, but as a manipulator. She is isolated, paranoid, and unraveling. I arrive late, dressed in white, a cruel echo of the wedding that never was. I find Marcus in his study, pouring a stiff drink. "I'm leaving her," he says without preamble. "After tonight." "Are you sure?" I ask, the picture of concern. "I can't live with a liar," he says, his voice hard. "I want to be with you, Olivia. We can build something real. Something honest." I almost laugh at the irony. I let him pull me into a kiss, just as I hear footsteps in the hall. Emily. Perfect timing. She stands in the doorway, her face a mask of agony. The sight of us together, the final, undeniable proof, shatters her completely. "Get out," she whispers, her voice hollow. "Get out of my house." "It's not your house for much longer, darling," Marcus says coolly. "This is it. The moment of my triumph. I have won. I have taken everything. Her husband, her children's affection, her family's esteem, her home. I have balanced the equation. But as I look at my sister's face, I don't feel the exultation I expected. I see the wild, cornered look of an animal in a trap. And I realize this game is not over. "No," Emily says, a strange, terrifying calm settling over her. She turns her gaze from Marcus to me. "No. You don't get to win." She turns and walks, not runs, towards the grand staircase. We follow, confused. She glides up the stairs, a ghost at her own party. She goes into her bedroom and emerges a moment later holding a small, ornate box. "Emily, what are you doing?" Marcus demands. She ignores him, her eyes locked on me. You think you know everything, Liv. You think you've uncovered all the secrets. But there's one you missed. She opens the box. Inside is a stack of letters, tied with a faded blue ribbon. You thought you were his one great love, she says, her voice dripping with venom. You thought I seduced Daniel away from you. The truth is, Daniel was never yours to lose. She tosses the letters onto the floor. They scatter like dead leaves. I pick one up. The handwriting is Daniel's. But the letter isn't to me. It's to Emily. And it's dated 6 months before our engagement. My dearest Emily, it begins. Being with Olivia is a torment. It's a performance for our families. You are the only one I have ever loved. Wait for me. We will find a way. I read on, my blood turning to ice. It was all there. A long-standing, secret affair. Their plan was for Daniel to marry me, secure a position in our father's company, and then, after a few years, manufacture a divorce and end up with Emily. My entire relationship was a lie, a means to an end for both of them. My great love, my great betrayal, it was all a sordid business arrangement. Emily didn't just take him from me at the end. She had owned him from the very beginning. My carefully constructed world shatters. My revenge, my 7 years of cold, hard focus, it was all based on a false premise. I wasn't the tragic victim of a last-minute betrayal. I was a pawn in their long game from the start. Why? Is the only word I can force out. Emily laughs, a terrible, broken sound. Because I always get what I want. And I wanted him. You were just collateral damage. Marcus stares at her, his face pale with disgust. You are a monster. We're all monsters, Emily snarls, her eyes blazing. And then she looks past us, towards the top of the stairs where Leo and Clara are standing, woken by the shouting, their small faces pale with fear. Seeing her children, something in Emily breaks. The malice drains away, replaced by a wave of utter despair. She looks at the wreckage of her life, a husband who despises her, children who are afraid of her, a sister who has become her executioner. It's all gone, she whispers. She takes a step back, towards the large bay window at the end of the hall. Emily, no, I say, a genuine fear, an emotion I haven't felt in years, cutting through my shock. This wasn't supposed to happen. Her ruin was supposed to be a slow, quiet decay. A life sentence of misery, not a public execution. Marcus moves towards the children, trying to shield them. Emily, stop this. But she's not listening. She climbs onto the window seat, her movements jerky, uncoordinated. She fumbles with the latch. The window swings open, letting in the cold night air. Below us, the stone patio gleams in the party lights, 2 stories down. You wanted my life, Olivia, she says, her voice carried on the wind. You can have what's left of it. And then, she leans back. I don't think. I lunge. I grab her arm, my fingers digging into her skin. She fights me, her body surprisingly strong. We struggle there, on the precipice, a grotesque dance of sisterly hatred. Her face is inches from mine, her eyes wide with a terrifying emptiness. In that moment, I see it all. The shared childhood, the petty rivalries, the deep, twisted bond that tied us together. I see the scared girl from our mother's diary, the one with a darkness inside her. I see the woman who was so terrified of not being loved that she would burn down the world to feel the warmth of a single flame. And I see myself, a woman so consumed by the past that she sacrificed her own soul to reenact it. Marcus is yelling, trying to pull us both back, but he's afraid to get too close. The children are screaming. The party guests are gathering in the foyer below, their faces turned up in horror. With a final surge of strength, Emily wrenches her arm free. But as she falls away from me, her hand snags on the locket I'm wearing, a locket my grandmother gave to both of us years ago. For a split second, our shared history hangs in the balance. Then the chain snaps. She falls. A collective gasp from below. A woman's scream. And then, a sickening silence. I stand at the empty window, my hand clutching the broken chain of my locket. The equation is finally balanced. A life for a life. But I feel no victory. No peace. Only the cold, hollow echo of a ruinous vow. I have taken my sister's life, just as I planned. But in the process, I have finally, irrevocably, lost my own. Down below, amidst the chaos, I am the only one who is not screaming. I am the ghost now, forever haunting the wreckage I created. If you like this story, please like this video, subscribe to the channel, and share your impressions of this story in the comments. To listen to the next story, click on the box on the left, and thank you for watching.